Cool, great. So, hey, excited to have Alexander Chan here, one of our alumni. And he got placed at a really amazing firm, Morgan Stanley, doing an alternative investments. So excited to catch up with you, Alexander. I think one thing that would be helpful for the audience is, what are some of the skill sets that Sutton Capital helped you develop to get that
Mhm.
job placement? And I
Yeah.
think what are some things specifically in the interview process that helped you kind of get that job offer? Because as we know, it's a super
hmm
competitive market.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Joe. So one of the things that we do that I did as one of the first cohort members at Sun Capital was sourcing deals and doing diligence in those deals. So that just naturally makes you more entrepreneurial and just more attentive to different startups and different founders. So you get a good scope of what's out there, and going into the interviews. Aside from Morgan Stanley, going to interviews that I've interviewed before for tech startups and also for Morgan Stanley, it was very helpful to have that like entrepreneurial spirit going in. So you could kind of talk about like different things that you did while sourcing deals, how you talk to entrepreneurs and creatively um like suggesting improvements of how you can scale a startup and a business in general. So that was very helpful.
No, it's great. And I guess what advice would you give to people that are taking the Sutton Capital program to get a full-time placement in asset management like yourself or private equity or VC or banking? How can people
Yeah.
use our program the best with you kind of being in our community for a while?
So you get what you put in.
Mhm.
No one's really going to force you to do anything inside the class or outside of the class. But what I found was really helpful was to source deals and to have at least two meetings with VC founders or VCs or founders.
Mhm.
And so you can just keep learning and keep that relationship going. So I started the program about 2 years ago. I still keep in touch with a lot of good folks who we share deal flow with, and I can share anything with them in terms of deal, in terms of things that I find interesting, articles, blogs, Twitter posts. So finding that community and expanding on that community is really important if you want to be successful in alternative investments or just venture capital in general. And that's ultimately how you're going to find a job through
Yeah, and with
connections.
our career support services, obviously we have the job postings and then, the mock interviews and the resume writing. So what what helped you the most to kind of finally land that job offer? Was it a little bit of all of that, or what do you think
Yeah.
people could make use of to kind
Slack
of really?
channels are the key, I think. Um,
Yeah.
when I was searching for jobs in tech startups, for
Mhm.
example, I moved to Ohio for 6 months to work at Realpha. That gave me really good experience at the operating level with tech startups. And while I was doing Sun Capital, while I was sourcing deals and learning about venture capital at the time. So Slack channel, the Sun Capital Slack channel is good. The Gen Z Slack channels are also good. Um, so some blog posts on Twitter, the venture capital page on Twitter is also really helpful. It condenses things into um, into just job posts.
Mhm.
And Mike McCombie's newsletter also has some good job posts in there.
Yeah. And then what about the career support in Sutton Capital for like job postings, or I mean, maybe not job postings, but I would say what about the career support for like the interviews and then maybe the resume writing? Do you think that helped to
hmm
kind of tighten
Oh
up?
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. The resume writing was good. It really it really focuses on what the job post is looking for and what the hiring manager is looking
Mhm.
for. So um, you know, you, Joe, personally helping with that, that was really helpful. So thank you for that. And it's just really, it's just kind of like go through a whole system when you submit a resume, and
Yeah.
so it's helpful to have those points, those bullet points to
Mhm.
be well written. So that was really helpful. That's on Capital.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, excited to see you successful in your career, and it looks like you have a really amazing, cool career opportunity right now. So best of luck and hope to catch up soon.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
take care.